Welcome back to part 2 of the human skill tree. If you haven't watched part 1, go watch the intro to that video to see what we'll be getting into. Today, we're going to be covering a bunch of abdominal exercises, targeting the upper, lower, and sides of the core. In the first video, all the pec exercises were mostly push-up variations, but now we'll start seeing some more variety. Starting off with the obliques, I'm going to be skipping over the first few exercises because they're really easy. The side hyperextension is the first one that started to give me trouble, especially because I didn't have the right equipment to do it at home. So I improvised with this crash pad, and hopefully it's good enough to show that I can actually do this one. The hanging oblique knee raises felt weird but not hard. In climbing, I'm used to keeping my legs square with my back, so it feels different and a little weird to twist on the way up. Windshield wipers weren't too hard, all things considered. I'm used to doing windshield wipers on the ground, and I'm used to hanging from a bar, so combining them isn't the worst thing in the world. My human flag has gotten a lot worse since the video I put up a year ago. The tuck feels weird, but maybe it's just my obliques that are weak. I think I'll give myself a fail on the tuck human flag and full marks on the horizontal one, and the vertical one just feels really hard. Since these were all the oblique exercises, we're moving on to the upper rectus abdominis, starting with the scale pose. I practiced the L-sit a lot when I did jiu-jitsu in college, so I hoped these would be pretty easy. I could have held the L-sit longer to show better form, but I tried to save some energy for the high-intensity exercises later on. As soon as I got to the 45-degree L-sit though, I knew I was in trouble. This one already feels really hard for me. The 75 and 135-degree L-sits and mana all confirmed my suspicions. I can't even get up to the right position to hold these and end up falling on my ass. To save myself a little bit of dignity, I was able to pull off the wide grip L-sit just barely.
Holy shit.
With a somewhat sad finish to the upper abs, let's move on to the transversus abdominis. Pardon the shirtlessness, but for hollow holds, the piece of wisdom I've always heard is that there should be no space between your lower back and the floor. I did boat poses in jiu-jitsu as well, but without a mirror, it was kinda hard to see if I had the right angle. Jiu-jitsu also involved a lot of V-ups, so the tuck and regular V-ups were no issue. The decline sit-up I managed to film on my way out of the gym, and it wasn't much harder than a regular sit-up to be honest. Finally, the inverted sit-up was a little hard, mostly for figuring out how to do it. It felt kind of risky to thread my legs like I did through the bar, but anything for the vid, right? All seriousness, these weren't too bad either, I just wasn't sure how high up to go. To finish out the middle ab exercises, we do some crunch variations. Scissor kicks and reverse corkscrews were also useful in jiu-jitsu, and you can tell by now that jiu-jitsu really values having a strong core. The ab slide out was hard, especially because I didn't have the best material for attempting it at home, but I think I managed to pull it off. And finally, what I think were the coolest exercises, the dragon flags. These felt pretty hard, but they activated the same muscles as the front lever for keeping your body straight, and because I'm training for front lever at the moment, these skills carried over pretty well. With the dragon flag wrapping up the transversus abdominis, finally we have the lower rectus abdominis. These are a bunch of plank variations, starting off with the basic plank, and then some mountain climbers. For these next two though, I'd like to show them off at the same time. These look very similar, but for hard-style planks you activate your core. Sorry for the shirtlessness again, but I'm trying to show that I'm actively using my core here, and what I'm visualizing is squeezing my elbows to my knees through the floor. You can see here on the diagram that this muscle is activating, but I'm not sure what it's called. The body saw wasn't hard, but good technique was surprisingly tricky. Once I had it though, it really wasn't too bad. I did these plank rows with 15 pounds, making it a little tricky to keep your balance, but altogether, not the worst. Wide plank wasn't anything to write home about. And for these plank back kicks, I wasn't really sure how it would look on camera, but I'm pretty happy with the results. For army crawls, I don't have enough room to do it fully, but I went on a little trip that hopefully shows the main idea. And I've done yoga before, so the one leg, one arm planks aren't too hard. It's mostly balance as opposed to muscle exertion. The Superman plank was really rough to hold, but nothing compared to the body bridge. When I first tried the body bridge, I thought to myself that this is way too easy, but then I noticed that my elbows were on the right platform. When I moved just my hands onto the platform, suddenly it felt really hard.
Jesus Christ.
It doesn't feel as flat out impossible as other exercises I've tried, but it would need a few weeks of concentrated training to pull it off. The last set of exercises for this video lead up to my holy grail of calisthenics, the front lever. It starts off with leg raises, then the negative front lever, which I'm not too great at, and finally the tuck front lever. I'm still nowhere close to getting the full front lever though, and I hope to get there eventually. The last exercise I'll leave you guys with is the hour-long plank. My greatest weakness is stamina, so I'll see how long I can hold it. And while I'm holding it, thanks for watching and stay tuned for the next episode, where we'll tackle gymnastics and martial arts. Yeah, 3 minutes is about what I expected. Thanks for watching.